are sitting 300-400 people, but we should just think how many Vanaras were there at the time of Lord Ram, with Hanumanji and Sugriva leading them. There were millions and millions of them together, all in the seva of Sri Ram. Of all the servants of God, perhaps none is so honored as Hanumanji. All over India, everybody regards Hanuman with the greatest of reverence, because he has shown how to serve Lord Ram with so much devotion that in every way he proved himself to be the best of all the servants of the Lord. We can just think of the Ramayana and the different ways in which Hanuman was of service to Ram. First of all, when Sita could not be found and all the Vanara leaders went to the north, the east, and the west of India searching for Sita, no one could find Sita. But only Hanuman was able to do so. He got word that Sita had been taken, abducted to Lanka. And because he is the son of the wind god, he was able to fly in a single bound from the farthest southern region of India to Lanka, which was a very, very great distance. How long was it? 80 miles? Huh?
About 90 miles.
90 miles. Anyway, it's a long distance. We can't imagine such a thing. He expanded his form such a large form, and he was able to cross over to Lanka. And then, because he's so intelligent, he made himself into the form of a small monkey. And he walked around the Lanka fort and saw all the fortifications. And he was searching and searching. He even went into Ravana's palace. He saw all of the ladies there, but none of them was Sita. And finally, when he went to the Ashoka Grove, then he saw the form of Sita, and he had no doubt this was surely Ram's wife Sita, because of her distraught condition. All the other ladies were enjoying, even though they had been stolen away from their husbands, they accepted Ravana, but not Sita. Sita would have nothing to do with him at all. So Ram had given Sita a token, given Hanuman a token so that Sita would recognize that Hanuman was his servant, and gradually she also returned the token. And of course we know the story how Hanuman first of all killed a number of Rakshasas. He allowed himself to be brought before Ravana, and then Ravana set fire to Hanuman's tail, and Hanuman then went all over Lanka and set fire to so much of Lanka and killed so many Rakshasas, and then he flew back. And of course he could have taken Sita at that time, but Sita, being a Kshatriya queen, she would not go with Hanuman, because she said, no, my husband should come and save me personally. I wonder if any one of us would be doing such a thing. Being captured by Ravan and threatened by our life, but still we would say, no, it is not befitting the honor of my husband that anyone should save me except Ram, and no one should touch me except Ram. And also, anyone who has any doubt thinking that Sita was touched by Ravana. We know that in fact Sita was never touched by Ravana, because when Ravana took Sita, actually there was a circle of fire, and it is said that Agni, the fire god, personally took Sita and protected her, because no demon can ever touch the mother Sita. It's impossible for a demon to touch her. And at the end, when Ram rescued Sita, you remember, he made Sita go through the test, and she entered into the fire, and out of the fire came Agni carrying Sita. So it is said that Ravana captured what is known as a Maya Sita. In other words, Ravana could not touch the pure form of Sita, but an expanded form of Sita was allowed to be held by Ravana, not the original form of Sita. I'm telling you this because there's a statement like this in one of the Puranas which explains all of this. So, because sometimes there's a doubt that people have, I mean, especially someone who is a very devoted follower of Ram will feel very great pain thinking how Sita could have been touched by a demon. So the explanation is given that actually she was not directly touched, but this was a Maya or illusory Sita. At least this is the explanation given. So, anyway, the fact is that then Ram came. We know that they built a bridge to Lanka, and millions and millions and millions and millions of monkeys and bears came along with Ram and Lakshman and crossed this bridge, which was floating, right? The bridge was floating. The stones were all floating. How did they float? Because they had the name of Ram on them. And so they floated and they were able to cross over. And there was a huge fight. So many big generals of Ravana, including his brother Kumbhakarna, were defeated. Kumbhakarna, you've seen how big he was. They had elephants jumping on his chest and so many things to wake him up, but he could not defeat Ram and Lakshman, and they were able to do away with him. And then gradually, even Ravana, Ravana was such a proud person that he asked for the boon from Brahma that no demigod, no deva should be able to kill me. He didn't even bother to say, no human should kill me, no animal should kill me, because he thought, there's no question of any human or animal killing me. I only need protection against the gods. But actually Ram, the supreme god, came as a human, and so he could kill. So this is the story of Ramayana, and we have to consider now, how does this story, what is the importance of this story for us today? What is the importance of Ram? First of all, people want Ram Raj. Everyone wants, especially today, we wish that Ram could come and settle up the problems of the world. Prabhupada, my Guru Maharaj, often used to say, everybody wants Ram Raj without Ram. They want the protection, but they don't want to surrender. They don't want to surrender to Ram, but they want his protection. So I think that it is not very likely that we will be able to get Ram Raj here in America. I don't think we can get it even perhaps in India, right? I mean, India is not getting any more settled up either for Ram Raj. So it seems that the only place that we can get Ram Raj, I can think of two places. The first place is inside us. We can establish Ram Raj. And the second place is that we can establish Ram Raj in our temple and in our homes. In other words, those places which we have control over, there we can establish Ram Raj, without anybody else's We don't need any popular vote. Right? Nobody has to vote on whether inside you put Lord Ram's lotus feet. That is your choice. There's only one person to vote, and that is you yourself. And similarly, in your home, hopefully there's not too much dispute there. So probably with a little bit of politicking, you can get your wife or husband to agree that we'll all vote along the party line and we'll vote for Ram. And Ram will be established in our home. Now, what does it mean that there should be Ram Raj? What is Ram Raj, really? Ram Raj we see in the case of Bharat, Ram's younger brother. Bharat took Ram's sandals, right, his shoes, and he installed them on the throne. And he ruled over the kingdom, but personally for himself, he lived as a servant of Ram. He never took the position of Ram. So what is the difference between Ram Raj and the Ravana Raj? Ravana Raj means taking the position of Ram. Ravan tried to steal Sita, and he tried to himself be the enjoyer of Sita and to be king. Bharat did something quite different. He said, I can never take the position of Ram. Similarly, Lakshman, you know the story how Lakshman never ever looked above Sita's lotus feet. He was so chaste. So this type of attitude where Ram is the deity and I'm the servant of Ram has to be adapted. That means this is not so easy, you see, because even though we say, yes, I will make my home like Ram Raj, but I think that your home you will not be in the mood of Bharat. You'll be more in the mood of Ravan. Means that when the table is set, it's set for you. When the television goes on, you're in the throne, watching. Everything, you are the king of your house. Then it cannot be Ram Raj. Because in Ram Raj is only one king, Lord Ram. So how to do this? We have to be very humble. We have to be very humble. And when you become very humble, what is the result? Then Ram takes control of your life. Then Ram will actually take control of your life. That means he will free you from any fear. He will free you from all anxiety. He will give you courage. He will give you strength. And there will be no difficulties in your life if actually you can do this. Difficulty may be there, but you'll have the strength to bear and tolerate the difficulties. Just like we see when the monkeys were fighting and many of them were killed, what happened? They all got back their life. By the mercy of Ram, they were all restored to life. So in this day and age that we're living in, where there is increased anxiety, I think it is more important now than ever before that we have to bring Ram into our life. Now, today is a very important day. Today is victory. We're celebrating Ram's victory over Ravan and his return to Ayodhya. Right? So, this temple that we're still here, but our whole plan is to construct a large temple. And in that temple, we are going to have Sita, Ram, Lakshman, and Hanuman deities. On the right side where Govardhan deity is, that Govardhan deity will be shifted, and the right altar will have Sita, Ram, Lakshman, and Hanuman. So this temple will be a Radha Krishna temple, Gornitai, Radha Krishna, and Sita Ram temple. And I think it is very significant. I got to be here on this day to be able to say a few words on behalf of Ram. But I hope that when we celebrate today, being the New Year's Day and being the day in which Ram is celebrating victory, that we should all start to pray. I was speaking to one Ram Bhakta here, and he was asking me, what is holding up the construction of the temple? And I said, I think that the problem is that until there is sufficient Ram Bhakti, the temple will not start. Because Krishna is already happy here. There's plenty of Krishna Bhakti here, and the temple's here. But for there to be Ram to come, there must be Ram Bhakti. So you have Ram Bhakti, I know that. But I think that somehow now we are going to start tomorrow, on Friday. It will be a continuous Ram chanting and Ram Katha. And I think that as a regular program, that we'll start to have regular Ram Katha here. And when Ram sees this, the temple, will come very quickly. All the delays will be over, and the construction will begin. Because then the feeling from the devotees will be so intense that Ram will force the temple to come up. Despite all of the delays, he will remove them all. So, my prayer is that we should pray to Hanumanji. Every night, let us pray to Hanuman, that you please bring your master here. We are missing Ram, we are missing Sita, we are missing Lakshmanji. You are their servant. Please allow us, give us some strength and lead us so that we can become the servants of Sita, Ram, Lakshman, and Hanuman. So if we get that collective prayer from everyone, it will be very powerful, and I have no doubt the temple will come up. Today is New Year's. Everybody should make some New Year's vow. Do you make a New Year's vow? Is it? Or only on January 1st? It's a night. So if we collectively make a prayer, our collective prayer should be that please Ram, Lakshman, Sita, Ram, and Lakshman, and Hanuman, please come here. Let us make that prayer. That we'll do everything we can to bring you here. By next year, it should be ready. When we should install the deities, it should happen on an appropriate day. We'll have to see. We'll have to pick either the temple opening probably should be either on this day or else on Ram Navami, or we'll have to see one of these auspicious days, the victory day of Ram. We'll have to pick a suitable day for the temple consecration and opening. Sri Ramachandra Bhagavan ki jai. Sri Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman ji ki jai.